Success stories don't come much better than this. A boy from the Australian bush saves a few bob, packs his guitar and sets out for Nashville, hoping to crack America's massive country music market. For a decade he meets rejection and battles personal demons, but he never gives up. Then, flat broke and out of luck, he's discovered and becomes the hottest country singer in all America. Sounds far-fetched? Not if you're Keith Urban. It's the middle of the night, middle America.
I know where the hell we're flying. Chester, West Virginia.
But the bloke clutching the Aussie beer is pure Australian.
I said, shut up, you baloney.
Introducing the Urban Cowboy, Keith Urban. You were born entertainer.
I'm a bit of a show-off. And there is something intrinsically wrong with that, don't you think? You're basically getting on the stage and going, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's like, you've got some serious issues.
His music is a high-voltage fusion of country and rock and roll. In America today, there's none hotter. Urban CDs sell in the millions. His tours are constantly sold out.
If the bus has any sway at all, this is the one that gets it. So the middle one's prime real estate.
Okay.
So there's 3 on there, 3 there, 3 there, and 3 there. So it's 12 altogether.
Okay.
And we've got, I think, 9 in our bus right now, 10 including the driver.
Okay, this is the kitchen?
Yeah, a little kitchen area to make coffee and microwave and pantry and stuff. Gotta have that bar fully stocked up there.
Keith's love for music began as a kid from Caboolture in Queensland.
I think I was about 7, and my dad took me to see Johnny Cash. Just watching Johnny Cash, especially on that stage with this big white spotlight and all the smoke from the people smoking cigarettes wafting up through it. And I remember just looking up thinking, I want to do that.
I want to be Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I just want to be that guy from that spotlight.
By age 8, he was winning country music competitions. By his early 20s, he'd won Best Male Vocalist at the Tamworth Country Music Awards.
Keith Urban.
It was 1991. Keith had talent and a bad haircut. I mean, really bad.
Thank you.
But this tyro with the bottle blonde mullet also had a dream: to conquer America.
I left the office in a flash of Friday, threw my boots in the car, cashed my paycheck.
This ugly little establishment down here is called 12th and Porter. And I don't know how long it's been there, but we played our very first shows in here.
Oh, really?
And it's still pretty much, you can go and see live entertainment every night in that little hole of a place, and it's packed.
When you came to Nashville, what were you expecting?
It's an excellent question. I don't think I really had any ideas of what Nashville's going to be like. I thought it would be like a really small little town that was pretty easy to get around in, and just, you know.
And what were you expecting for yourself?
A little quicker acceptance. That didn't happen.
I can see that old man, he's walking past our door.
If Keith came expecting instant fame, what he found was hard slog and rejection. Year after lonely year of it.
It was frustrating, and I guess I kept thinking, boy, I didn't think it was going to be this hard, but it never occurred to me to stop.
How hard did it get?
Well, my manager, Greg, and my drummer, Peter Clark, who also came across from Australia, they took to mowing lawns for income. I was writing songs during the day, living off this pathetic little publishing advance, and they were both going out and cutting grass. And the beautiful thing about cutting grass is that, as like cutting records, is that when people would call from Australia and say, how you guys doing? We go, well, we're actually cutting this week. We had one show where there was 3 people. It was a place called the Dingo Bar in Albuquerque. Should have known. They booked us into this club and we started playing, and there was 4 people in the club. One of them was the bartender, and we played a song, and one of the guys at the bar left. I went, okay, this is not good. And so I said, let's ditch the set and do like a cover song. And when we finished it, that other guy left. So we're down to the bartender and our record company exec, and I said, we better stop. So we just quit.
How do you get out of, that mindset? I imagine you just dread the next place thinking...
You just drink. That's all we did.
It wasn't just drink Keith turned to. Loneliness and failure saw him seek solace in drugs. At his lowest, Urban was on a constant cocaine high.
I wasn't in good shape, and I was just lost and confused. I knew I had to be here, but it was so difficult. I had no idea what I was doing, but just kind of, just wandered around aimlessly for a while.
Did you fall into the trap of drugs?
Yeah, I found a deviation in those. I felt like I could, it's a typical addict syndrome. I can do this alone. I don't need anybody,
Did you class yourself as an addict?
At the time I did. I think in hindsight, I have a tendency to get depressed to the point where I find solace in less than healthy things.
How did you get out of that?
Some little voice kept saying to me, you didn't come here to do this. You didn't come here to do this and be this. This is not you. Some voice kept saying to me, this is not you.
Keith conquered his demons, cleaned up his act, and began to get noticed. His records got airplay. His concerts sold out. His name became known.
We're going to do in a couple seconds. We're going to bring Keith in. We're going to put him right here. We're going to do our meet and greet. However, 1 autograph item per person.
After 10 years of hard labor, Keith Urban was discovered.
He's a star. He's a star 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then you discover that he is a great guitar player and he has all these other elements, but he's really a star in every way you can define it.
Mike Dungan is the powerful head of Capitol Records, a man with his finger on both the vertical and horizontal pulse of country music, whatever that means.
In my 23-year career, I've never worked with anyone who has as much vertical and horizontal potential as Keith does. I really think his potential is just enormous.
And if there's one thing that you can say is the defining quality of Keith, what is that?
It's the intangible that makes the difference. It's that drop-dead, walk-in-a-room star power that so few have, and Keith has it.
God, trying to remember. I knew it was in the memory bank somewhere.
Such a pretty little thing, I wanna put you in a ring on your finger. Baby, can't you see that we were meant to be together?
You write a lot about relationships.
Yeah.
Are you good at that?
I'm still single, so evidently not. I don't know if it's that I'm not good at it or whatever. I just haven't found what I'm looking for yet.
When he strikes out, he, strikes out.
Ah, so close.
Beer and bowling, that pastime of the single guy, is Urban's preferred way of winding down.
Brought this ball all the way from Australia.
I like playing and I like singing and I like writing songs, and I try to get better at all of them, and I try to be a good entertainer too.
music is something you're really well known for. I mean, your guitar work is considered fantastic.
Well, that's why my mum's my publicist.
Keith remains proudly Australian. But ironically, Australians are still a little unsure who he is.
How long before they're going to be ready, do you think?
It is an interesting situation when you could have this very Australian man who is probably better known here than he is in his own home.
Well, can I say, maybe you blew it.
I'd like to get to the point where I can tour when I want to tour, and not when you have to. That's it, not when you have to.
So are you making money?
Not yet, but I'm getting close. There's a big hole to fill in, let's put it that way. 10 years creates a big hole.
You must be getting close.
It's a big hole.
Keith Urban is proof that perseverance pays off. He's copped the knockbacks. Now, the rewards. What's the best feeling?
Going to a town you've never been to before and seeing people sing songs that you wrote in your bedroom or in your shower. That's a really freaky feeling. I've never met these people. James Taylor's got a song about that. And he says, fortune and fame, such a curious game. Perfect strangers call you by name. Pay good money to hear fire and rain again and again and again. It's perfect. It totally sums it up.
Welcome back to 60 Minutes. From the age of 6, Keith Urban wanted to be a country music star, but it still took 20 years for the kid from Caboolture to crack the big time. There were many speed bumps along the way, drugs, alcohol, and a whole lot of rejection. Then, in Keith's words, came the fast cars, the guitars, and marriage to Nicole Kidman. But it wasn't until his appearance on The Voice that we Aussies really began to know and like Keith Urban. Despite all this time in the public spotlight, he's still an enigma. So when I caught up with him on tour in America, I was surprised to find a man ready to let his guard down.
But this is genius stair making right there. I feel extremely safe going up there. So you want to come up there, Star?
Yeah. For a bloke who's had his share of stumbles, Keith Urban is on safe ground here.
This is set up further that way.
Yes. Preparing for tonight's sellout concert in Indianapolis.
There's a delay, like one.
Yep. 25,000 adoring fans will soon be getting up close and personal with the kid from Caboolture. Do they throw things at you?
I hope not. Not anymore.
No, I mean like bras and things.
They throw things.
They do.
They do throw things. Yeah.
I guess that you've got to take that as a compliment.
Yes.
But it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Can be. Or flattering, who knows? I don't know.
It's easy to see why he's built such a following here in America. The country crooner with a lot of rock and a bit of pop on his side is charming and cheeky.
Not singing Wonderwall.
No.
'Cause after all, you're my wonderful. You want one?
Now that you have this success, you know, you don't have to fight for success anymore. Are you still hungry?
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Because there's so many more things where, so many more places music can go. There's so many more ways to entertain a crowd.
That means this crowd is in for a good time. And they show their appreciation by getting very touchy-feely.
I don't come out thinking everybody's into it. I have this attitude that everyone's going, what's this all about then? That's all I've ever known. And so I play accordingly, you know, to connect and lift and have this happen.
The rise and rise of Keith Urban has been nothing short of phenomenal. 15 million records sold, a new #1 single from his latest album, Fuse, and a sellout American tour. And of course, juggling it all with marriage to Nicole Kidman and raising their 2 young daughters, 5-year-old Sunday and 2.5-year-old Faith.
The kids are figuring it out slowly, you know, what Dad does.
What do the kids think of what Dad does?
Not really interested. Because the kids were here last night, and you know, Faith goes to bed at 7:30 or so I don't play till 9, so she's well and truly onto it. But Sonny was up still about 8:30, 8:45, and I thought, this is good. I said, you're pretty awake? She said, yeah. I said, you want to come see me play? She said, no.
Keith Urban had the dream from a very young age. From the bad haircut days to the years and years of rejection. Keith landed in Nashville 20 years ago, but despite his raw talent, the capital of country music didn't quite get the boy from Queensland.
I was really out of step with what was going on in Nashville. You know, I don't wear a hat, I don't play traditional country music, I wasn't raised on traditional country music, and I just lobbed in there and played like I played, and it was like, what the hell is this?
Did you ever have a plan B?
No. No plan B ever.
Is that why you stuck
I
out
can't do
for so
anything
long?
else, Tara. What are you talking about? That's just all I can do. It's all I do. But, you know, the reality is, if it's a real dream, it's uncrushable. It doesn't matter what anybody says. You're just gonna do it anyway.
Ultimately, it wasn't Nashville that almost brought the dream undone, but Keith's own demons. He's now famously clean living, but for years his life was blighted by alcohol and drugs, particularly crack cocaine. Your battle with addiction has been well talked about. Do you regret being open about it? Did it take a lot of courage to talk about it?
I mean, it was sort of out there anyway. It wasn't like it was a revelation. I think I'm very grateful for where I am now and the way in which I live my life. Very grateful for that.
Are there days when it's still a struggle?
No.
No. Well, that must be a relief.
There's no word for it. Relief is sort of a different kind of word. It's a different life. It's the one I was hoping I could figure out how to live.
It looks like a fairy tale life. Married to Nicole in a blaze of publicity 7 years ago, and now a proud dad, his fortunes have certainly changed. This Aussie has become America's favourite adopted son. Some of the terms to describe you are Keithalicious, Mr. Nicole Kidman, the guitar wonder from down under. Which one are you most comfortable with?
The last one. It's awkward, but it's not a great bunch to choose from. I love being married to Nick, of course. Good Lord. Would all be as good as gone without you.
How has having kids changed your life?
Oh God, in every way. 2 girls that call me Dad. Never had that before.
Is that your favourite word?
It's a good one. Baby is good too. My wife calls me that. It's beautiful. People always ask, what do you love most about being a dad? And I'm like, well, everything. I don't really have a list. I mean, from piggybacking them down the stairs to having them be in the bunks in the bus to just watching them blossom and become these two extraordinary, beautiful creatures. It's beautiful.
Are they similar?
No. Yes and no. As Nick and I are similar and different, it's the same thing.
Of course. Do you think there might be more babies?
No babies. Must have some bizarre tabloid headline that comes out. So
No babies. That's our tabloid
Cross
headline.
my heart.
It'll be a nice surprise if there was.
It'd be a shock to us.
When they're not in the public eye, Keith and Nicole live a very different private life in Nashville.
We really choose to raise our family as quietly and normally as we possibly can, and that takes a bit of planning, and we're willing to do that.
Especially, I guess, when you're a singer and you often, I guess, songs can be autobiographical. How do you marry the two? How do you be true to who you are and what's going on in your life and still keep some privacy?
Well, I mean, we live by the mantra that we have nothing to hide and everything to protect. And I think that is how we go about our life. But there's songs on this record that are about me, and the songs that are record that are just about a fictitious character or characters. They're not all autobiographical. There's a song on the album where I talk about smoking and drinking, and someone goes, "You don't really do that." And I go, "Dolly Parton didn't work 9 to 5 either." It's ridiculous.
Chatting, singing, it don't mean nothing without you. The fast cars.
Despite his success in America, it wasn't until his star turn as a coach on The Voice that mainstream Australia embraced Keith Urban.
I had a blast doing The Voice. I really did. When Seal and Delta and Joel and I all got together, it felt like we were a band, with 3 guys and we have a girl singer.
Thank you.
That's a yes from me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
In the States, he's going from strength to strength, now wooing American hearts as a judge on American Idol.
You darling. You know what I loved? I loved the vulnerability in your voice. That's the thing.
But it seems his heart is really here, on the road preparing for his next concert.
If you get that real low and then get the drums and everything turned up,
Back in Indianapolis, it's nearly showtime.
maybe just get Phil to turn that guitar way down up here.
But with a road crew of 70, it's also big business. And there's no doubt who's the boss.
You only wear one ear.
You've been invariably described as the nice guy of music. But I've also heard you described, when it comes to business, as being ruthless.
Ruthless.
Ruthless. Is there a mean streak?
Well, I hope there's not a mean streak. I think that's a particular thing. I think if you're going to run a business, which is what I run a business, I employ lots of people. I've got to know how to do that and keep the boat going forward.
You're the captain.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and everybody sort of depends on me to have it together and be sure about where we're going. Yeah.
Do you think that's innate? Do you just have that ability in you, or is it something that you've learned through the business?
Oh, I mean, a lot of it's just being an Aussie ingenuity and determination, but also don't take any bullshit and don't tolerate any sort of just crap and whining and complaining, and we're here to do a job. Let's get on with it.
Just get on with it.
Yeah.
There would be a bit of crap in this industry, wouldn't there?
There's crap everywhere.
To know how far he's come, you have to remember where he began. But perhaps the most surprising thing in the Keith Urban story is that he is only just now recognizing that he's made it.
There is supposed to be a time in all of our lives where we sort of go, this is what I was working towards. And I'm guilty. Nick is so good for me on so many levels. He was sitting outside last night and she's going, this is it, right? And I know what she meant by it. I mean, playing to a bunch of people and That song just went #1 this week here, and it was just, the kids are on the bus, and I'm just like, yeah, this is actually it. And it was just like, whew, this big weight went off my shoulders, and it was like, it was almost like, it's okay, Keith, to say, this is pretty damn good right here.
Why does it make you emotional?
Because I don't know arriving, I just know struggling, and I just know hoping and working towards and striving for and wanting so much to rise, and you know, that's all I've ever known. So when you actually get here, there's it's a strange feeling that to stop and actually breathe for a moment. Never felt so good.